Hi all, glad you all could make it here. My name's Toby Huff. I'm with the PSI brand, the North American Sales Manager, and this is about getting connected, product track and trace. These will be co-presented by myself and Jim Crawshaw. My background's been about 40 plus years in the rotomolding industry as both a molder and a supplier. My father owned a company in Indiana called Spin Cast Plastics. And since 1995, I've been in the supplier side of the industry for rotational molding. We're talking about the benefits of product track and trace for rotomolding, how to using proven methods. This will be about serial numbers, barcodes, QR codes, and RFID and our PSID brand. No need to fear though.
Yeah, just another point on that. No need to fear. We will be recording this. So if you do miss anything, there's quite a lot of information we're covering in the next 15, 20 minutes. So we will be recording and we will be sending that recording out. I guess another point is that please use the questions button down the bottom of the webinar there. And we'll certainly look forward to answering those questions at the question and answer session at the end of this presentation. So if I can just cover this slide a little bit quickly, Toby. So PSI, for those who are not familiar with PSI brand, it's really rotomolding, I guess, for a start. It's in our blood. I've been a rotomolder myself. My father, who's the managing director and founder of PSI brand, started out as a rotomolder. In fact, he started in his garage, like most businesses do, and developed a business up to a point where he really could see a massive need for branding and a system that worked, frustrated with the methods that were out there, developed the graphics we now offer through PSI brand. So in a nutshell, we add value and make great parts exceptional through product branding and the track and traceability functionality of this branding, which we're going to discuss today. We also offer surface enhancements for plastics, take the pinholing out. And we've partnered with Stoner Incorporated in Pennsylvania. You'll see their logo up there, who are masters in product and mold surface enhancements. So some cool products there if you want to chat to us about them. But furthermore, we have the training portal and masterclasses, which is an online training system, also partnered with Armour to help molders across the globe. And not to forget our trusted ambassador also in Arizona, Terrence Gillen, Paladin Sales. So we partner with these brands and companies to pack more value into what we offer to our customers. So I believe the next slide is yours, Toby.
So we got the benefits of track and trace. The features of all manufacturing is connecting the product with the rotomolders, connecting the rotomolders with the end users. These things will reduce your cost and time and increase your productivity. And we'd like to explain this a little further.
Absolutely. So track and trace is really defined by your purpose. So you need to really identify what the purpose of your track and tracing is if you haven't already done this. Here's some quick examples here. The most common being unique product identification. And that can be done through something as simple as a serial number or barcode. There's also production tracking. What we mean by that is DOM or date of manufacture, batch number, also product specifications. And this again can be done through use of serial numbers and barcodes. There's also a need for identification used in resale, such as barcodes. So if you were to scan a barcode to bring up the type of product and its SKU number. Another use here is product information. So that's typically used as a QR code, and a QR code can be attached to your product and then used by way of scanning that to take you to a web form or web page, which you can then find out more information about that particular product. And we've also put in there the servicing. anti-theft and asset tracking, such as location data log, if you were to be doing product servicing, or some sort of warranty work. And so the most common method for that, again, is serial number, barcode, and or RFID. So RFID is a newer product that we've only offered really in the last 12, 24 months. And so we'll talk about that a bit further on in this presentation.
So when to use serial numbers? Here's a case study. This case study is from Viking Kayaks in New Zealand. The purpose of this study was to identify product through production and identify any product recalls. They had a problem. They were using hot pokers for scribing, and they were dependent on users. They were poor aesthetically and really not very easily visible. So the solution we showed them was using a black and white serial number in mold graphic on every cycle with branding. One of the things they mentioned to us, they looked really sharp, and it meant that they could easily identify a boat from time of manufacture right to the recall. That's what we call customer service. If you look down in the right-hand corner, you'll see an example of one of the barcodes and the serial numbers that we use for Vikings.
Yeah, so with Viking, obviously they've been a local customer for a number of years, and they've used these serial numbers, as you can see there. The print is extremely sharp, and yeah, definitely gives them a nice point of reference for warranty work. What about barcodes? Well, in this case, we've got a study here on Waterstore in Australia. This company produces large water tanks. And really their purpose was to identify the product through production, through to the maintenance stage, and connecting to an ERP system for their water tanks. So their main problem there is they were using self-adhesive labels, which, as you know, the fact is nothing sticks to plastic. And they found these peeled off and sometimes completely disappeared. So logistical nightmare for them. So their solution was to use pre-printed in-mold and post-mold graphics on every product. So the in-mold they would use on any new tanks that were going through production. Post-mold graphics they were typically using on products that were already out there in the field to replace where the adhesive labels had come off. So for them there, as you can see in the testimony, it worked well for our guys at the oven, right through to the installers and maintenance team, lasting as long as the product. It also doubled as a branding tool and source of contact. So you can see their logo and free call number in that picture down in the right-hand corner. So certainly a nice option for them.
So another thing was QR codes. QR codes, this case study was about a company called Wida in Indonesia. Their purpose was to do inventory control from production to the delivery of water tanks in Borneo. The problem was it was a government project that provided villagers, it was due to providing villagers with free water supplies. But the tanks seemed to be getting lost and they were misplaced and not delivered, and some of them were even stolen. So one of the solutions was to come up with a QR and scan both ends, both from the factory and delivery and right through the end use of the product. And they basically have told us that they performed as expected. They were easy to use, and they were 100%, they had a 100% success rate since they implemented them. So they were able to basically also use this QR code for getting more information to their customers as well. And I guess it could also connect yourself to their websites as well.
Absolutely, certainly a really attractive option for them. So the final tracking system that we'd like to share with you is RFID. So what about RFID for plastics? I guess you might be asking, for those of you that may not be familiar with RFID, is this stands for radio frequency identification. And where has it been used? It's first used in World War II planes, actually to track planes as they came back and as they went from bases. But more commonly these days used like in anti-shop theft and security cards. Anti-shop theft does mean like Some products will be tagged, and as you walk out the door, if they haven't killed or removed that tag, it will then set off an alarm. Security cards, so they might be swipe cards for keyless entry, and also vehicle tolls like EasyPass. So when to use RFID, I guess some of the greatest benefits is it does not require line of sight like you would with a barcode scanner. It gives you much greater depth of serialization because you can put all sorts of information in there, such as data manufacture, the production location, where it's been and where it's going to next, if there's been any servicing done on the product. Another great feature is that you can multi-read. What we mean by that is you can read more than one tag at a time. So if you were to have 50 products within, a certain distance, it would then pick up all those different RFID tagged items. As I mentioned, you can store information on them, such as mentioned before. They can also be locked and killed. And what we mean by that is you can lock an RFID, so if someone else wants to have an RFID reader, they cannot get in and tamper with the information on that RFID. And they can also be killed, like I mentioned earlier, with like in shops, retail, where they can kill a tag, so when you walk out the door, it doesn't set off that embarrassing alarm. So, a lot of uses. Why PSID? PSID is the trademark that we've used, which is the RFID in a permanent in-mold graphic construction. And how this is used is typically they are adhered to the mold using the popular peel and stick application that our graphics offer. You proceed with your molding, the graphics mold into the plastic, and then once it's finished on the part, is then abrasion and UV resistant. Then the part can be read. The tag can be read with the tag on it, readable with either a handheld or fixed reader device. So the bottom left-hand corner, you can see a picture of these, tags. So 80 by 40 millimeters is typically the size that we supply the RFID. And this bottom right-hand graph kind of shows how it works. So if you zoom in closely there, you can see the tag, chip, and the antenna on the graphic, a reverse side of the graphic, and that graphic attached to the product. When that product goes out into the field, wherever it may be, the reader can then pick up the reader antenna and then bring that information back to your system. On the right-hand side, you can see the full RFID system in action. So there might be a number of items or products that can be picked up by a reader. Then if it was packaged into a case or pallets, then it could also be read, depending on what your hardware is, whether it be a handheld or fixed device. So I just want to share a quick little case study of where this has been used. And this customer is Saplas in Iceland, who are kind enough to let us share this unique application where they're using it. And their purpose was to provide multiple tracking options. So one for product hire, when the product is going out for hire, and two was for processing data, and three was for instructions of use on website. So before the problem, what they were using spin welds and other secondary self-adhesive decals for the RFID. Both were time consuming and poor aesthetically. So the solution was to provide a 3-in-1, which includes a QR code, barcode, and RFID in-mold graphic they put on every cycle. And you can see the bottom right-hand picture here. You can see a close-up of what that looks like. So each barcode is serialized. It has a QR code, which takes you back to their website, including instructions on how to use. And there was an RFID tag as well on the reverse side. So for them, in their words, they put it, this insulated container is unique to us and the end user. So the barcode was used for tracking and manufacture process. And the QR was to access website tutorial, and the RFID to trace the product journey. For example, from the source, so these insulated containers are going out onto fishing vessels, where they'll be catching produce. They'll then, at the point of catch, they can log the data location of where the product was caught, what kind of product is going into that bin. And then as that comes through the food journey right to the shop front, there's complete traceability. So very unique application, and I hope it puts some ideas in your heads. So yeah, sorry, you go,
okay. Just check if anybody has any questions with regards to some of the stuff that we covered today.
There was one question that came up earlier as to what type of devices could be used to read these RFID. And it's a good question. There are two types of devices, really. There's, I think I might have touched on them being fixed or handheld. And a handheld device is simply looks a bit like a smartphone like this here. And they're a little restricted as to their read distance, depending on what type of device you get. And we don't supply any of that hardware or software. You are best to speak to a specialist that is close to you. Typically, there would be a supplier somewhere near to you, but if you don't know of anyone and would like some help on this, just reach out. We'll be happy to put you in touch with someone. We just supply the RFID in graphic form ourselves, and we can give you the data sheets and everything you need to take to these specialists, and they'll be able to furnish you with the right equipment. I trust that helps that question. Any other questions? But certainly, if you do have any further questions, feel free to email them through to Toby or myself. I'll let you wrap up there, Toby.
So, conclusion to takeaway points, to be or not to be, track and trace is for you. The cost of no traceability is usually just not affordable for most companies. Hope this blog was useful. If you have any other questions, contact psibrand.com/track and trace and connect with PSI to assist with your next project. We appreciate your time and thank you for showing up. Please share this with people out there.
Absolutely.
And it is, like Jim said, it is being recorded, so you can all go to the Association Rotational Molders website and pick this up from them as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'd like to say thank you very much once again, and look forward to sharing the recording with you. Certainly appreciate your interest. Take care.